Hi everyone and welcome. I'm back today with another card. This time I'm participating in Block Hop between Gina K designs and My Sweet Petunia. So for my card today I'll be using the Boho Flowers mini kit from Gina K. And this is wonderful kit. I just love the designs, especially the flourish, which has mirror image. And then the flowers and the butterfly, as well it has coordinating dies including the use sentiment, which is really kind of cool. So I'll start by stamping in the flourishes, and I will show you that like this card includes few techniques. So I'll show you just in a second. Here I'm using the creative corners, MISTI creative corners, in order to stamp the flourish. And you saw my magnet kind of jumped over the creative corner there, so I switched to the bar magnet, and I'm using the grid transparency in order to line up my flourishes symmetrically towards the bottom of my panel. So I'm using 4¼ by 5½ panel, white cardstock panel, and then I'm lining those flourishes in the center so they're symmetrical, because I will be doing some partial die cutting. I'll just cut the bottom of these flourishes and leave the top and do a gatefold card. As well, I'll be doing over stamping. After I color my images, I'll stamp over with VERSAFINE and emboss with clear embossing powder. So I lined those up and I picked them up with the lid of the MISTI. Next I'm using some black ink that's alcohol marker friendly. So when I color, I'll be using some Chameleon Pens and Chameleon Color Tones to color the images. So I think the middle didn't stamp well, but after I did this I realized that I didn't need to stamp that a few times, because I will stamp over it after that with VERSAFINE and then emboss with clear embossing powder. So I'm using Chameleon Pen, Dark Sage, and Mossy Mellow top, and then I switched to the Evergreen because I want it a little bit darker, and I used the Mossy Meadow top. So I'm just slowly coloring those leaves, and I'm kind of infusing in between. So I'm speeding up here a little bit. And here is where I switched to the Evergreen because I want it a little bit darker. So here I'm already finishing up those leaves. I have the last two left and I'm coloring them together. So now I'm applying some embossing body powder, and I stamped with the VERSAFINE ink. And then I'm applying some clear embossing powder and heat setting it. I really like the embossed look on this. So in the next step, you will line your dies. I tried to do both of them together, but they were overlapping in the center, so I just did one by one and just secured, and I'll just cut the bottom section. So you see that how it's kinda, it has a little bit flap down there. So I'm going with the second one, and by magic of YouTube, it's already die cut. Next I'm using my scissors to snip that middle off, and I'm trying to see what kind of cardstock, what color cardstock I want to do underneath. So I decided that black was pretty good. So next I'll stamp the larger flower. I'm doing the same process. So I start here coloring and I didn't really like, so I just turned that around, turn my cardstock around and stamp one more time the flower. And I'm just testing I'm using fuchsia and tangerine Chameleon Pens on top. So I think that I like the infusion time and how it turned from orange to pink. I'm just coloring each petal of the flower and then the center. You see it's not perfectly stamped, especially in this petal here that I'm coloring right now, but because I'll be stamping over it with VERSAFINE, it doesn't really matter. So next I'm trying some mellow yellow and tangerine to see how that looks, and I was pleased with the results. I'm using that on the outside of my petals. So I have those already colored now. Now I'm going with the VERSAFINE. Again, I'm applying that anti-static powder so the embossing powder doesn't stick everywhere, just on the stamped portion. So then I heat set it and I'll die cut it using the coordinating die. My magic with YouTube, that's already cut. So I think that looks pretty nice there, and I was pleased with the results. Next I'm cutting a card base from black cardstock. So I'll leave, I just trim a little, like tiny smudge of the bottom part. So I have nice overlap there on the bottom. So and then I trimmed the front part of that card base to about 2.5 inches. So in next step, I forgot that I didn't stamp the sentiment, so I'm positioning the sentiment. I'm using You Are So Kind. And I'll be using again VERSAFINE and embossing white clear embossing powder. So I'll quickly heat set this, and we're almost done here. So next I'm kind of putting together that gatefold card that opens on the bottom. So I'm applying some adhesive on the back of my card, the white card, and then adhering the black on the back, and then the flap goes underneath that partial die cut part. Next I'm using some dimensional foam to adhere the flower. I'm just adhering the top because the bottom overlaps with that flap, so I don't want it to stick to it. So next I'm finishing my card with some Nuvo drops. I'm using black and jewel pink. And I'll let this dry. And here's my finished card. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog. See you soon in another video. Bye!